12 Quotes presents The Unseen Battle, Mastering Your Fears. Fear. It's a small word with enormous power. It can freeze us mid-step, silence our voices, and trap us in comfortable prisons of our own making. We all know it. That knot in your stomach before a big presentation, the icy dread of potential failure, the paralyzing what-ifs that echo in the quiet hours. But what if fear isn't the enemy we think it is? What if confronting it is the very path to unlocking our greatest potential? Today, we dive deep into the heart of fear, armed with timeless wisdom, to discover how we cannot just face it, but truly overcome it. Our journey begins with perhaps the most famous quote on fear, spoken in a time of profound national crisis. Franklin D. Roosevelt declared, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." Think about that. Not the tangible threats, not the specific challenges, but the feeling of fear. Nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror is the real adversary. It's the fear that magnifies problems, clouds judgment, and paralyzes action. Roosevelt wasn't dismissing real dangers. He was pinpointing how our own amplified, uncontrolled dread becomes the ultimate obstacle. Recognizing fear itself as the primary foe is the first crucial step in disarming it. But how do we fight this foe? Does overcoming fear mean becoming fearless? Absolutely not. Nelson Mandela, a man who faced unimaginable adversity, taught us this profound truth. "I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it." Courage isn't about never feeling scared. That's impossible. Courage is feeling the icy grip of fear, the racing heart, the trembling hands, and choosing to move forward despite it. It's the triumph that happens in the space between feeling afraid and taking action anyway. Courage is action in the presence of fear, not its absence. So how do we build this courage? How do we move from being paralyzed to taking that step? Eleanor Roosevelt offers a powerful, experiential answer. You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. This is the heart of exposure therapy, the core of growth. Strength isn't bestowed, it's forged. Courage isn't found, it's built. Confidence isn't given, it's earned. Each time you consciously choose to stand your ground, to look that fear directly in the eye, whether it's speaking up, trying something new, or confronting a difficult truth, you chip away at its power. You gather evidence against the fear's narrative. You prove to yourself, through direct experience, that you can handle it. The fear might not vanish, but your capacity to act alongside it grows exponentially. And let's be clear, this courage doesn't always look heroic. It's not always a grand, defiant roar. Sometimes, as Marianne Radmacher beautifully reminds us, courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the quiet voice at the end of the day saying, "I will try again tomorrow." After a setback, after a day where fear won a battle, after exhaustion sets in, the most profound act of courage can be that simple, quiet decision. Tomorrow. I haven't given up. I haven't surrendered. I will gather myself, tend to my wounds, and step back into the arena tomorrow. It's the refusal to let today's defeat become tomorrow's reality. This quiet persistence is the bedrock of lasting change. It's also essential to understand that adversity isn't the enemy of courage, it's its necessary companion. Mary Tyler Moore put it succinctly, "You can't be brave if you've only had wonderful things happen to you." True bravery is forged in the furnace of challenge. Smooth sailing doesn't demand courage. It's when the storm hits, when things go wrong, when disappointment and fear crash over us, that the opportunity for genuine bravery arises. Our struggles, our failures, our moments of deep fear are not signs of weakness or misfortune. They are the raw materials from which courage is sculpted. If your life has been easy, you simply haven't been tested. The friction of difficulty is what polishes the gem of courage within us. One of the most potent tools we possess against fear is the power of a resolute mind. Rosa Parks, whose simple act of defiance changed history, understood this intimately. "I have learned over the years that when one's mind is made up, this diminishes fear." Indecision is fear's playground. The swirling what-ifs, the weighing of endless possibilities, the lack of a clear direction. This vacuum is where fear thrives. But when you reach a point of clarity, when you make a firm decision, a remarkable shift occurs. The energy previously wasted on anxiety and doubt gets channeled into commitment and action. The path forward, even if difficult, becomes clear. The fear doesn't necessarily disappear, but its power to paralyze is significantly diminished because your focus shifts from the fear of acting to the act itself. A made-up mind provides direction and momentum that fear struggles to stop. We also need to normalize fear as a response to the inevitable: change. Tony Robbins offers this pragmatic insight. Fear is a natural byproduct of change. It takes time to get used to new thoughts and situations. Fear isn't always irrational. Stepping into the unknown, challenging old beliefs, leaving the familiar behind, these are inherently unsettling. Our brains are wired for predictability. Change disrupts that. So, the fear you feel when starting a new job, moving to a new city, ending a relationship, or pursuing a long-held dream, it's a natural physiological and psychological response. It's not a sign you're wrong or weak. It's a sign you're pushing boundaries. Don't interpret the fear of change as a stop sign. See it as a signpost marking the territory of growth. Passion is another powerful antidote to fear. Steve Jobs famously urged, "The only way to do great work is to love what you do." If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. When you are deeply engaged in work that resonates with your core, that ignites your passion, fear takes a back seat. The intrinsic motivation, the sense of purpose, the joy derived from the activity itself become driving forces far stronger than the fear of failure or judgment. Passion provides fuel. It makes the long hours, the inevitable setbacks, and the inherent risks feel worthwhile. If fear is dominating your experience in your current pursuits, it might be a signal to ask, is this truly aligned with my heart? Am I settling? When you love what you do, courage flows more naturally, because the path will never be smooth. Setbacks are guaranteed. This is where perspective, championed by Winston Churchill, becomes vital. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Fear often stems from an exaggerated view of failure, seeing it as a permanent, defining catastrophe. Churchill reframes it brilliantly. Success is a moment, not an endpoint. Complacency after success is just as dangerous as despair after failure. And failure? It's a painful event, a detour, a lesson. But it is not the end. It doesn't erase your worth or your potential. What truly defines your journey, what truly matters in the battle against fear, is that indomitable spirit that says, I get up. After the fall, after the humiliation, after the fear seems vindicated, finding the will to take the next step, that is the essence of overcoming. The courage to continue is the courage that ultimately defeats fear's attempt to permanently derail you. Crucially, overcoming fear requires action. It's not enough to simply contemplate bravery. Henry Ford delivered a blunt truth. You can't build a reputation on what you are going to do. This applies equally to building courage and overcoming fear. You cannot think your way out of fear. You cannot plan your way to absolute safety and then act. Endlessly preparing, researching, waiting for the perfect moment when fear magically disappears. This is often just fear disguised as prudence. Ford's point is about tangible results. Reputation, like courage, is built on deeds, not intentions. Every time you do the thing you're afraid of, you reinforce your identity as someone who acts despite fear. You build evidence of your capability. Waiting for fearlessness guarantees you'll stay stuck. Action, however small, is the brick and mortar with which you build your fortress against fear. Start building now with the bricks you have. This brings us back to the essence of the brave individual, defined centuries ago by Julius Caesar. The brave man is he who overcomes not only his enemies but his fears. External enemies, competitors, critics, obstacles, are visible foes. They can be studied, strategized against, and confronted directly. But the internal enemy, fear, is often more insidious and more powerful. It operates in the shadows of our minds, undermining our resolve, whispering doubts, magnifying threats. True bravery isn't just about conquering the visible challenges, it's about mastering the invisible ones within. It's the daily discipline of quieting the inner critic, challenging catastrophic thoughts, and choosing faith in yourself over the seductive pull of dread. Ultimately, fear's greatest weapon is stealing our present moment. It traps us in regret about the past or anxiety about an uncertain future. The Stoic philosopher Seneca offered timeless advice that cuts to the core of fear's power. The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today. You are arranging what lies in fortune's control and abandoning what lies in yours. What are you looking at? To what goal are you straining? The whole future lies in uncertainty. Live immediately. Fear thrives on what if and someday. It convinces us to postpone life until conditions are perfect, until the fear is gone, a day that never comes. Seneca urges us to break free from this trap. Stop sacrificing the tangible, controllable present, the actions you can take right now, the experiences you can have today for an imagined, uncertain future. Worrying about tomorrow robs you of your power in the present. The future is uncertain. That's its nature. The only moment you truly possess, the only moment where you can exercise courage and overcome fear, is now. Live immediately. Stop waiting. Start doing. Act despite the uncertainty because of the uncertainty. That is how you reclaim your life from fear. The battle against fear is unseen, waged within the quiet spaces of your mind and heart, but its outcome shapes everything. Arm yourself with these truths. Remember the wisdom of those who walked this path before. Feel the fear, and then step forward. Thanks for watching. Please comment or share how you plan to use the quotes discussed. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content.